Episode 23 of the Cup of Mets podcast. Ian Bosniak here, joined alongside by Robert Benegas as always. Robbie, how we doing, my friend?
What's up, Ian? Another day in Mets land. We're in September now, so Mets fans, hang tight. One more month, and again, a lot to talk about still in this 2023 campaign. Can't wait to discuss.
Wild that it's September already. Yeah,
Definitely,
September 1st.
definitely.
And it feels it. And it feels it in the morning. It's like 60 degrees. I'm like putting on sweatshirts and shit already.
It's that fall weather, baby. You already know.
Fall weather. Now we just need to get through October really quickly so that it can go like that. Because
Yeah,
October, when the
yeah.
Mets aren't in it, absolutely the worst month. Um, Yeah, we're just going to hop right into it. Just a reminder, give us a follow on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube, and on TikTok. We are at Cup of Mets. Also, be sure to rate and subscribe to our podcasts, whether it be on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. So, as Rob said, a team that's has 0.2% chance of making the postseason in the Mets. September 1st, normally not much brewing, right? Wrong. Obviously, you would think if you're listening to this that, hey, we're going to talk about the fact that the Mets promoted Ronny Mauricio. We are. But first and foremost, the Mets went and fired a ton of front office executives yesterday. Um, Fired pro scouting director Jeff Lebo, farm director Kevin Howard, who I actually know. So I'll reserve things on that. Performance director Jim Cavallini and baseball development director Brian Hayes. Reportedly, a few more names could be coming. And then obviously you have, who's going to replace all these guys, who's going to be the one in charge of replacing them. It's going to be a president of baseball ops. It appears that Eppler and Cohen are the ones that are in charge of this search. Rob, what do you think that this is just a result of a really bad season or just like getting rid of the crap that was left over from the Wilpons?
No, definitely. Definitely getting rid of the crap that was left over. I mean, most of those guys you named have been with the club for a majority of years, and again, I think it's just Steve Cohen putting his foot down and saying, "Hey, I gave you guys a shot. We we can see that the Mets have been very inconsistent this year, and you're gone. And again, this just smells.
David Stearns.
And then now you hear rumblings about Craig Counsell being a fit for the Mets as a manager. So it's definitely again I'm happy. I'm excited, man. It's just a new regime kind of taking over, and
Yeah.
hopefully like I said, hopefully the Mets just kind of feed off this and longevity of amount of success.
Yeah, listen, it was about time. You look at some of the
Yep.
titles: pro scouting director, farm director, performance director, and baseball
Hmm.
development director. I just feel like they're not seeing the development obviously in the kids that they want. So it starts with the developmental stage and the director, and it kind of riddles down to the scouting departments and whatnot. So listen, I think it's only a good thing. They actually the one of the two individuals they left in charge with was Chris Christie's son. Rob and I were talking about it beforehand, so not sure
Nice.
if that was a favor to the Wilpons who were still set on the Mets board, but um, that's the to be determined. But um, no, I mean I think it's a great move. Do you think David Stearns is coming in like realistically?
No, yeah, I think so. I mean, again, we've been hearing his name for the last 2-3 years now. So
I feel like it's baseball's worst kept secret that Steve
yeah,
Cohen wants him.
pretty much, exactly. We don't know like what these sources know. You know what I mean? And we're gonna get into it in this episode, along with like Pete Alonso drama. But everyone has their different source, quote unquote, and the majority of it, like you said, is clickbait, and then the other majority or the other half is the real deal Holyfield. So again, it's great to see that. Again, the Mets are just kind of not. Again, I hate that people lose their jobs, but again, new regime coming in. Hopefully, Billy Eppler and Steve Cohen obviously have a plan, and let's do this.
Exactly. And it's all about a plan. It really is. And
Yeah,
that's why I think a lot of us level headed Met fans were okay with what they
mhm.
did at the deadline. And now you
Yeah,
see here in the final month of the season, they can evaluate now, okay, who do we have? And I'm not talking about the people on the field, I'm talking about the people in the front office. They can
hmm
evaluate that, and then they can let the new president of baseball operations come in, hire
yeah,
his developmental, his performance director, his farm director, and all that, and kind of wipe the slate clean. And being a local kid,
definitely.
David Stearns, um, Rob dreamed of being a baseball player. I dreamed of being a front office executive. And I know that David Stearns also dreamed of being a front office executive. He wound
Hmm.
up in Milwaukee. He's a local kid, and he grew up a Mets fan, so I can only
I was gonna
imagine
say, yeah.
that he'll be chomping at the bit
Mhm.
there. You
Definitely,
know,
100%. And it's good. And again, I also love hearing these Craig Counsell like rumors, or saying that
do you
he's the
do you think
next.
Buck's going to come back then next
Well,
year,
that's what
or
I'm
do you
saying.
think
Like
it's
all
going to be
these,
up
like
to?
in the past episodes of 2023, we questioned Buck's decision making. We put a lot of the blame on, or you put a lot of the blame on Buck. I kept, to a certain point, but whatever. We were all, even Mets Twitter was going crazy over Buck Showalter decision making, this, that, and the third. It's good to see that they let him finish out the season. Maybe at the end of the year they discuss. They say, hey, listen, maybe there's a role higher up for you, off the field. And then that's when, I mean, it only makes sense if Stearns is coming, he's going to want his guy or his manager, and his manager's Craig Counsell. So I like it, man. And very, again, I remember him growing up playing and shit. Very respected guy, knows the game. Just look at the Brewers, man.
Greatest
Yeah, yeah.
greatest batting
Shortstop,
stance of all,
cuz.
strangest batting
Yo,
stance of
he
all
was on the
time.
Diamondbacks too, right?
Diamondbacks,
There you go.
Marlins,
So he's a
Brewers.
champion. He's a
Yeah.
champion.
Yeah, he's a world champion. Yeah, listen, he knows how to win. He's a good manager. He's very strategic and also knows how to utilize the analytics on the field.
Well,
Um, I just think that again, we'll talk about Craig Counsell, and there's some people saying that he may want to take a year off if he does decide to leave the Brewers after this year. Um, that may give way for Buck Showalter to finish out his contract next year.
yeah, exactly.
Finish out year 3 and have some of the younger kids under his belt watching them,
Hmm.
and then bringing Craig Counsell, who's ready to go, the fired up squad for 2025. So I don't know. I guess we'll kind of see. But again, we can only report the news and kind of what we analyze. But until the winter, we won't really know shit.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we can't pretend to be someone we're not, and we're not. We're just a couple Mets. So, mentioned from the outset, it is September 1st,
Yes,
and
sir.
Ronny Mauricio has finally arrived. He's finally arrived. All the baby Mets in the majors. Rob, what are you looking for from Ronny here? He's batting ninth tonight in his debut here.
And he's playing second base. I just hope to see him play, multiple positions in the bigs, whether it's at third or second or left field, or maybe even in center. Who knows? But again, just give him reps. Right off the gun, he's starting, and even Brett Beatty coming rejoining the Mets. He's right there at third base with him. Let's see what the kid's got, man. This is it now, and I wish it was earlier. You know what I mean? But now that where the Mets are, and now we're looking ahead to 2024. Let's let the kids play, and again, I'm very excited, man. Seattle's a very good matchup, I think, and Ronny Mauricio. Let's see what you got, bro.
Imagine he comes out just raking, and then the Mets fans just like in a reverse, just
Bro,
uproar and just get furious.
hopefully,
You're like,
I like
yo,
that
we
up the
could have
middle.
had this months ago.
Him and Lindor up the middle. That's a
Yeah.
nice little combo right there. But
Yeah.
we'll see, man.
And it also is playing into kind of what you've said over the last several weeks in that
Hmm.
you kind of like McNeil in the outfield more than second base.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and it
Was he
really
playing
looks like
right or left?
whether it's going to be Mauricio or whether it's going to be Acuna next year or
Uh-huh.
somebody, it really looks like the Mets like McNeil for that corner outfield slot and kind of like that Ben
Yeah.
Zobrist role, being that super
Yep.
utility guy.
Exactly. And then again, the Mets are known for making defensive substitutions late in the game. Again, you move Mauricio out, you put McNeil at second, you put an actual outfielder out there late in the game.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Yeah.
happen, man. But again, he's in right field, I'm assuming. McNeil.
McNeil's in left field. So tonight's lineup, we got Brandon Immo,
Oh yeah,
Lindor.
right. DJ Stewart, the GOAT.
Yeah. Yeah. McNeil in left, Alonso, Vogelbach, DJ Stewart, the GOAT, as you just said, out and right. Francisco Alvarez, Brett Beatty, and Ronny Mauricio. Yes, Rob mentioned that Brett Beatty was also amongst the September call-ups. He's back after raking, after being sent down. But just quickly, just finishing off on Mauricio here, because we've been talking about him forever. So I guess really we're just stoked to kind of see him in the lineup and see what he's got. But thus far in AAA this year, he's 23 home runs, driven in 71 runs. He's stolen 24 bases. He's scored 76 runs. His slash line 292, 346 with a 506 slugging percentage, 368 WOBA, 107 weighted runs created plus. Strikes out at an 18.2% clip. It is his second lowest of his career though since rookie ball, so that is a positive.
Okay.
Again, it's really just remains to be seen what this kid is. We know that he does have some holes in his game. You mentioned defense. There's certain positions where he's had to move around. Um,
Mhm.
the offense plays. There have been some concerns about him adjusting to big league pitching. That's one of the reasons why supposedly they kept him down, along with the defense. But at the end of the day, I think that we're all just super excited to see Ronny Mauricio join the rest of the baby Mets. And maybe it also sparks up Francisco Alvarez, who's looked like crap lately.
No, definitely. And again, Francisco Alvarez and I believe Mark Vientos, when Mauricio got called up, they both, had a reaction to it on social media. So
Yep.
again, obviously Alvarez, again, it has good chemistry with Mauricio Beatty and Vientos. And again, maybe like you said, maybe it'll spark a fire under his ass. I think the unique thing about Mauricio though is like, again, he's a switch hitter. So, you know, again, he could be in the lineup every day,
Big dude.
whether it's a lefty or a righty. And then people forget like he's like 6'2", 6'3". He's tall, man.
Yeah,
He's a
no,
tall, lanky kid,
he's a
and he's a
big and
growing
and
boy, bro.
and the thing is he's started to build out. He's 6'3",
Hmm.
166.
Yeah, exactly. And he's still growing. He's again he's maturing. And hopefully we could just see that in the bigs here in September. So
I've always said a switch hitting, thinner Jordan Alvarez. I've said it. He looks like him. Um,
well, he hit like him in spring training. So hopefully again we just see it right
and
now.
in the winter league, yeah. And speaking of lighting fire underneath Francisco Alvarez's ass, I just want to say over Alvarez's last 15 games, and again, this is expected. Doesn't matter if you're Ronald Acuna Jr. or you're the worst prospect that's ever been developed, Gavin Cicchini. His last Alvarez's last 15 games, he's hitting 091 with a 245 on base percentage,
Jeez.
slugging 091, hasn't hit a home run, only has 2 home runs in his last 30 games. Alvarez is definitely going through a rut. Something that I like that I'm seeing though is he's keeping his composure mentally. He's always there, locked in,
Yeah.
on the
Mhm.
pitcher. And I'm talking about his battery mate. I'm not talking about the opposing pitcher. But the enthusiasm and the optimism that Alvarez displays isn't going away, and I think that that's something that's really important for a 21-year-old prospect who's been labeled a martyr already,
Pretty
and has
much.
come
Yeah.
back and has come down to earth, and he's still able to keep that composure. And again, hopefully, just Mauricio coming up, a lot more comfortability between all four of them, and they can just kind of rock and roll. What are you looking for from Brett Beatty as he comes back up? What do you kind of
Brett
ob-
Beatty.
obviously he wasn't getting the ball in the air a lot. He was striking out a ton here
Yeah.
at
No.
majors.
Exactly. Yeah.
Defense was
No.
kind of off. What are you looking for?
No, I mean, you said it right there. The Mets obviously were concerned with him not putting the ball in the air and driving the ball. So, right when he got to AAA, he started doing that, and hopefully you just hope it correlates to the big leagues. Again, he's starting at third, so clean slate. Let's forget about his defensive errors and defensive plays from the beginning of this year, and let's just hopefully he just has confidence in manning down the hot corner. I mean, again, the Mets have a nice little infield today, and Beatty, Lindor, Mauricio, and Alonso. So again, defense is there, and no perfect pitcher to start than Kodai Senga. So again, it's going to be Friday night lights for the Mets. I know you're going tonight, so enjoy the game and let me know how it is because I really you're seeing 3/4 of the kids playing, so it's awesome, man.
Yeah, if you want to grab a ticket, they're like $5.
Nah, I would. I have a fantasy draft tonight. I do.
Yeah,
I
no,
do. And a
it's a little
bottle of
date,
tequila is calling my name tonight.
and see little date night action calling my name tonight.
There you go.
Get to go out with the lady and
Shout out Evie.
um, yeah, get to who? You just gave a shout out to my girlfriend. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
Evie, yeah. So, get to go out with the lady friend and then get to see Ronnie Mauricio debut. So what's better
that's
than that?
what number is he donning you? Do you know?
I don't know yet.
That'd be kind of sick if he done like what he did in spring training. What he do, 68 or something like
Yeah, he did 68.
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
La-
give him like
I think he might be rocking
7
60. That's what it says on the Mets depth chart.
60.
60.
Yeah, no, that's a good number.
That'd
That's
be a good number. That'd
fun.
be a good number.
Yeah.
The last thing on Brett Beatty here before we move on to the next topic on our agenda. which is another drama-filled topic. It's just being the Mets. Brett Beatty, before he was sent down in 278 at bats, he was getting on base at a 289 clip, 620 OPS, was hitting 216, hit 7 home runs, and drove in 27. Definitely had his spurts where he looked like that legitimate hitter, a guy that can hit for power and some contact. And then at other times, he looked completely lost at dish, lifeless at bats, swinging at off-speed pitches down and out of the zone. So I think that's really what I'm looking for, and I'm looking for more of that launch angle. And if it works, man, I don't know. Maybe they should fire Jeremy Barnes and bring up the AAA hitting coach, because I'm not talking about this year. I'm just talking about in the future, man. Like, it seems like everyone
Yeah.
goes to Syracuse to hit the shit out of the ball, and they come here and they can't do dick. So
Yeah, well, that's totally different
aside,
levels, but
aside from Francisco Alvarez, yeah, but come on, we need fast adjustments here. All right, we've been hearing about these kids for so long.
bro, that's the
And
Steve Cohen attitude.
Steve Cohen attitude. No,
Yeah.
that's like the I don't know whose attitude that's like the George Steinbrenner attitude. Fucking perform. No, that's not me. That's not me. I'm all for
I
development.
don't think that's the Mets way.
No, player development, baby.
No, you
Player
have to,
development.
man. I mean, again, you see the Astros and stuff like that, and other
Exactly, dude. The
teams,
process
Orioles.
works. Yeah, the process works. Orioles, Astros.
Dude, baseball's a different sport where you could have a process. Like basketball and football now, like there's no such thing. You know what I mean? I mean, again, in football a little bit, but basketball they try to rush everything now. It's
Yeah,
like
baseball. There's a systems for all teams
yeah.
aside from the Angels, who call up their number one picks in the same year. You know, so
Bro, dude, they waived everybody, man.
isn't that insane?
They should. I don't know why. Like the Mets should like claim or try to put like a waiver in for like Giolito or like Clevenger. Like,
Well, they've all gotten claimed.
yeah, well, yeah, all right.
Giolito and
Plus
Reynaldo
Syndergaard, yeah,
Lopez. Giolito and Reynaldo Lopez both got claimed by the Guardians. What an insane idea if you think about the Angels. They both have, I think, the same record.
yeah,
And one waives them all because they're completely out of it in the West and they don't see a shot. And they're not going to, and obviously nobody else has a shot at the wild card. And then you have the Guardians, who maybe see their hopes just there because they're in second place behind the Twins in the Central. Maybe, I don't know, but they all looked like shit in Anaheim. And then Dominic Leone,
yeah.
he also
That
got
was funny.
claimed by who? The Mariners.
Seattle, yeah. But
And
we basically got a sick
Jeremiah
prospect
Jackson for nothing.
yeah. All right, well,
Billy Eppler,
it could be
swinging,
worse.
winging,
Yeah, it could be worse. That's why fans got to realize it could be worse, yo.
wheeling and dealing, baby.
Yeah.
Wheeling and dealing. Just wait till the winter.
Oh boy, the winter. Speaking of the winter, did you see a polar bear in your sights or?
What did I tell you? What did I tell you? Okay. So
Clickbait.
the first report that came out
Clickbait.
weeks ago was from Ken Rosenthal. Okay. He said that the Mets nearly traded Alonso to the Brewers, which caused Alonso to have to answer questions. Then Bob Nightingale comes out last week, which we titled the episode literally after his report, called it the Pete Alonso episode. This is essentially kind of like the Pete Alonso episode 2.0 here, because we have to finish off the episode speaking about it again.
What is it
Because
called?
now
The
Andy
epilogue?
Martino
Oh yeah.
of SNY comes out and says that unless the
He's
Mets
a
are
reliable
absolutely
source.
blown away,
Yep.
he will not be traded. Pete Alonso will not be traded this offseason. It's the same shit as the deadline. It's the same thing as the deadline. If the Mets can agree to a contract extension, $27-28 million a year, and if he's willing to accept 6 to 8 years, I think it gets done, and I think they come to a contract extension. If not, and the Mets are able to field a competitive team, like a really competitive team, which I think they will. I think teams are, and people are really underestimating what Cohen and Co are going to do this offseason.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they're going to go after the high dogs, but they're going to go after some really, really quality pieces.
Yeah.
They can bring Alonso back, really make a push for it in 2024, and then they can wait till the offseason, try to sign him like Aaron Judge. And if he signs somewhere else, the Mets end up with a compensation pick. Or they could bring him back for next year. And if we're out of it at the deadline, then the Mets trade him again. There's no reason people talk about the Mets wanting to enhance the farm system. They already did.
No, they did tremendously, honestly, with the pieces that they had. I mean, and of course, Cohen had to cover a little bit of money here and there, but it was well worth it.
Well worth it. Well worth it.
Yeah.
He essentially bought a farm system.
Hmm.
And obviously you talk about a potential haul that you can get for Pete Alonso. I almost said Pete Cohen, but for Pete Alonso, we brought it up last episode. The Mets could get uh someone who's ready to contribute on the major league level in a very competitive fashion, along with two top prospects, maybe even three for Pete Alonso right now, right?
Hmm.
Because that team would be assuming that they're going to sign him to an extension, kind of like the Mets did with Lindor a few years ago. That's something that, again, unless a team blows them out of the water,
Yeah, of
it's not
course.
going to happen. So now let me ask you, Rob, because we did it last week. We can't be following the media, and that's why we have to be our own media. We have to have our own sources because I can't trust any of these guys. So that's we're a couple Mets media now. We're gonna have sources for everybody. We have a few, but we'll
Hopefully.
have more.
Yeah.
Um, do you, do you do you see him getting traded?
No, I mean, now seeing all this, it totally just complete 180 here. I don't see him getting traded anymore. I definitely do think they get something done. I don't know if you saw that report, the like the contract numbers or where they stood. You know what I mean? There was a
No.
report. I don't know by who, but Pete Alonso was like asking for this amount, and the Mets were offered him this amount. You know, that's where the disagreement was. But
Was it like the Mets were looking at like 24, 25 million
they
dollars
like
or something,
yeah. They like the 21 to $25 million range, and
and
he
Alonso
wants the
wants,
27, 28. Like you said, the Freddie Freeman. You know, so
which they should, and it probably means that they're afraid that he's going to be a DH in the latter part of his days,
yeah.
right?
But I
And then
still
they're
think you should too, though. Like, and again, like I said, to answer your question, like, no, it's complete 180. My mindset's different. Like, I definitely think something gets done, and he's a Met for life. So,
yeah. I listen again. Unless somebody blows them out of the water. Another thought that I had was it wouldn't make sense unless the two teams are, well, you know that the Mets love Juan Soto, right? So the only trade that I like is like if you did like a 1-for-1 Alonso for Soto, because the Padres aren't going to re-sign Soto, but the Mets would put their balls in Soto's court and then they would re-sign Soto. That's the only thing. And I think I said that too one other time. I don't need another haul of prospects. We just bolstered our system with the draft. We just bolstered our system with at the deadline. If we keep losing, we're going to end up with a protected pick in the draft next year, right?
mhm.
Um, I think it's time that the Mets lock in Pete Alonso. They should have done it a few years ago, but lock him in. We've said make him a part of that core with Senga and Diaz and Lindor and Alvarez. Who am I missing, Rob? McNeil. And let's go. Alonso isn't this guy like Aaron Judge who he's missing 40 games a year, 30 games a year. Pete Alonso's out there diving at first 158 games a year. He's a baller. Resign him. All right, Rob. So as we wrap up episode 23 here of season 2, the Cup of Mets podcast, just a few announcements. Be sure to follow Cup of Baseball on Instagram. It is obviously an offshoot of Cup of Mets. We're their father. So be sure to follow Cup of Baseball. Also, I'm pretty sure if you head into whether it be Google Chrome, Safari, whatever you prefer, even regular Google, anything, just go to www.cupofmets.com and you'll be
Oh,
able to get apparel. You'll be able
wow.
to get a shirt like I'm wearing right here with the Cup of Mets logo. We also have a lovely DJ Stewart
Yes,
bubblegum helmet
sir. Yes,
uh,
sir. DJ.
shirt in the link. DJ Stewart, our boy, who's been on a mighty, mighty tear. We didn't even get to that. But DJ Stewart's a god, and we've made it known on our website, and we are celebrating that, rocking a t-shirt. You can see it on our Instagram account as well as at www.cupofmets.com.
Yes, sir.
DJ Stewart's last 15 games, 8 home runs. 8 home runs. 8 home runs. Think about it. 8 home runs
See
in the
that
last
catch he
15
made?
games.
See
16
that catch he made,
RBIs.
yeah?
What?
The catch he made too.
The catch he made too. The catch he made too. The defense, 347, 396, and an 898 slugging percentage.
No, good for him. I'm happy for him. Seriously.
Rob, DJ, did we find a gem in the? Did we
Oh
find
yeah,
a
definitely.
needle in the
Definitely, hundred
haystack?
percent, 100%. I mean, again, he's earned it. So that's
Yeah,
why I like him because he's worked. You can tell he plays with passion and emotion, and
yeah.
he's
So
a good dude. So
he's a great dude. He's got to buy diapers, so everybody to celebrate
yeah,
and
I'll buy you
honor.
some diapers, DJ. Don't worry.
Yeah,
I
for
got
everyone
you.
to
I
honor,
got you.
DJ Stewart and show their support for
Yeah.
the former first round draft pick made, stud here in Queens. Be sure to head to couplemets.com and get your apparel now. Rob, any final thoughts, buddy, before we hop off here and wrap up episode 23?
No, listen. I mean, again, we're just getting started, and make sure you just give us a follow, shoot us a follow, or however you want to say it, and again, so hit that subscribe button,
There it
and
is. That's a big one.
all in all, just thank you. I mean, again, we're over 1,500 now on Instagram followers, and it's just thanks guys, and we appreciate you, and let's go Mets. Let's finish the season on a high note.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, we're entering our final month here of the Cup and Mets podcast here, season 2. Before we head into the hot stove edition. But Rob said it. Yeah, thank you. Reach 1,500 followers plus on Instagram. That's a big mark for us that I don't think when we started this out we thought that we would hit. So thank you for that. The Instagram, we just spoke about that. The podcast has continued to grow, and I think Rob and I can speak for the both of us when we've said that we've thoroughly enjoyed doing this and chopping it up with everybody and each other on a weekly basis. So it's been fun again. Unfortunately, this season has sucked, but brighter times ahead. Brighter times ahead. As Rob said, be sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. We are at Cup of Mets. Be sure to subscribe and rate to our podcasts, whether it be on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. For Mr. Robert Venegas, call me Bobby B. I'm Ian Bosniak. Thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Take care, guys. Happy Labor Day.